At this point, I'm using the goat as a guideline or to let me know I've gone on too long rambling.
Uh-huh.
So I was talking beforehand. So I had one of those events where I realized that my friend who thinks he is or one of my friends who currently has decided he's the most mature person he knows on the planet, and no one can be as mature as him, and he is so much better at adulting than everyone else. Eric, I've
Oh,
mentioned,
him.
yeah. I realized that the reason he has been pissy with me for so long, and we could not figure it out, he is jealous that I spend more time with other friends than I do with him.
Oh.
And like, this is adult and mature, yes.
Yep.
Being bitchy, it's one of those moments of I got very close to telling him I'm not dating you. I don't know if you understand that, but you are not my boyfriend. You're not my girlfriend either, but you're kind of acting like it. And like on Monday, I hang out with my friends Ron and Kevin, and we play D&D early in the morning. For me, early in the morning. It's like 1 in the afternoon or 2 in the afternoon. That is an inhumanly early hour for me.
Okay.
Because I normally sleep till like 3 in the afternoon.
Yeah, I mean, for me lately, that's not really how I'm processing time, because I've been having to like do long hours during the day because I've had a lot of work to do.
But, so I have Monday set aside for us to hang out and play some D&D slash Pathfinder slash whatever. And we hang out and we game and what have you. And he's apparently very jealous that I will not set a day aside to hang out with him. The reason I will not set a day aside to hang out with him is because he wants that to be Saturday, and that is the day when Angel and I hang out with our other friends on a rotating schedule, so we can't set it aside because we never know what day it's going to be that we hang out.
Uh-huh.
But he is very, very upset that we will not set aside a day that will be Eric Day. And here's the funny thing. As Angel pointed out to him, she is the one who makes the schedules and decides when we actually go to do shit. He is angry at me.
Right.
Because he is using crazy bitch logic.
As you do. When you're, a crazy bitch.
Yes, and I do not mean crazy woman logic in this situation, just before, so everyone on the internet is clear. I mean crazy bitch as in he is an asshole. Okay, let's go with crazy asshole logic. That's less sexist sounding. Yeah, so it's just been mind-numbing because this has been going on for months and months, and I just finally figured out why he cray. Okay. I'm done. Now that I understand why, I am done humoring you. Because you cray. But, the last time we hung out, he was doing much better and much less nuts, so that's nice. And I did not have one of those days where I was sitting there going, you are... Here's the thing. He has decided that he is way more mature than everyone else.
Right, you mentioned that.
And that means he decided to stop being friends with everyone who he decided was less mature than him.
Oh.
So now he has no friends because all the people that he decided who were mature, as mature as him, don't want to hang out with him because he's immature. So he is now, it's down to me, basically, me and Angel. So he's texting Angel constantly throughout the day while they're at work, since they both work the same job, talking about work. And the other day, she referred to him as my friend who she puts up with while she works with him. Like, yeah, it kind of is it, ain't it? That's sad. Because he does not... he thinks that he is the most likable person on the planet. I realize that's one of the reasons he, hates Ron so much. Because Ron is tubby. He's a pervert. And he admits to it. He doesn't even lie about it. His fucking, his PSN name, which everyone he sees and talks to online, basically is, I am a horrible pervert. I mean, that's not really what it is, but, that's what it boils down to.
Uh-huh.
And everyone likes Ron because he's nice, and he's friendly, and he's enjoyable to talk to, and he's well-versed on, subjects that people are usually interested in, like video games, and anime, and robots, and shit like that. And it is enjoyable to talk to him about such matters. But when he found out that apparently Ron actually has a huge-ass fan club in our goddamn guild because he likes role-playing and, everyone decided that, because of how nice he was, that meant he was he was their mother. So everyone calls him Mama Twib because his character was originally a My Little Pony name because, yes, he's a brony.
Oh.
So he was Twilight, and then someone accidentally typed in Twib instead of Twy. So now he is now and forever Twib. And that just, everyone likes him and calls him Mama Twib, and he's just, Eric is just sitting there going, I wonder if he knows that, their mama is a 30-year-old virgin who's never had a girlfriend, and, blah, blah, blah. And me and Angel just sitting there going, the fuck does that have to do with anything? That has nothing to do with him being a nice guy. At all. Because, the thing about Ron is he is actually and he actually has had girlfriend. It's just Eric refuses to admit that anyone would date Ron because he's a nice guy.
Of course.
But he actually has had girlfriends, and there's actually a girl who he works with who I'm absolutely convinced has a crush on him, and he only sort of thinks she might, but mostly thinks she's just nice. I'll admit, Ron is a nice guy, and he is what I once described as, and he's gotten actually a lot better looking. Over time, he's lost weight because he does a lot of physical labor now, but when I met him, he looked like a skin-colored latex tube sock full of cottage cheese. And
a latex tube sock.
Yes, a latex tube sock full of cottage cheese.
Is a latex tube sock actually a thing?
I am sure it is, and I'm sure it is fetish related.
Okay.
But, so that was just, he is in spite of all that, he's a very nice guy. And he does have some issues. I mean, everyone does. But those issues do not include him being an asshole. But Eric cannot fully grasp how it is that people could like Ron more than him. And maybe because he is likable. It might sound wacky, but that could be it. It could be because he is enjoyable to talk to. And, with Eric, it's one of those. I hang out with him about once every 2 weeks, and that is about as much as I can handle him. And, granted, he was in way better spirits and a way better mental state last time, even though, crazy, crazy, crazy. So it was actually enjoyable, and I'd totally hang out with him again this week, maybe. And that is a strong maybe. But, yeah, it's just, maybe if you learn to stop being, or if you stop being an asshole and think that maturity is the most important thing. And I know why he did it, too, because he's realized he's reached that age where he has no dateable character, traits. He's a complete and total narcissist. To an extreme.
Mm-hmm.
He still, I believe on some level, believes that he will manage to get his music career off the ground at almost 40.
Oh.
As a bass player.
Oh.
And, he basically, alright, I can understand his losing his shit when his girlfriend of 10 years suddenly, it turned out she had been cheating on him for 6 years.
Uh-huh.
That is a valid reason to lose your shit. But, if you actually want to start dating again at any point in time, then you would probably want to actually go out of your way to be friendly and social.
Wouldn't you think?
And the first part is he is a friendly and social person. It wouldn't be hard for him. He's an enjoyable person to be around when he's not being crazy bitch.
Mm-hmm.
Well, no, he's decided that maturity will be his selling characteristic because he is mature and responsible. And to be honest, I've never met a more irresponsible person in my goddamn life. Because you wouldn't have, because, well, from your point of view,
Okay.
you have a ton of money saved up. Let's say
I wish.
let's say $6,000 to $7,000.
Uh-huh.
What would you do with that money?
Well, I don't really have a plan for that kind of money.
Well, yeah, okay, let's say, for example, that you had no responsibilities and you could save that money and spend it in whatever manner you want. This was extra money over the top. You live, well, in this scenario, you live alone or with a roommate in a standard apartment. Mm-hmm. And you know that this is only 1 year worth of savings, and if you scrimped, you could probably end up getting more.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm going to do this way. In this situation, I've asked a lot of friends, and most of them say, oh, I would start saving it, put it into retirement, maybe some bonds, because approaching 40, that's a good time to start putting shit in, start putting shit away. And he went out and bought a $7,000 bass guitar.
Oh, well, his music career is important to him.
Yes, his music career is very important to him. Then a month later, his car exploded. Well, not literally.
Yeah, see, that's, probably trying to tell him something.
And he then had to go ask people for money.
Maybe he should have tried to sell the guitar.
Well, to be fair, and this is as fair as I can be in this situation.
He overpaid for it, didn't he?
Oh god, no, it's actually a Fender Bass 6, and that means absolutely nothing to you, but it's a guitar, or it is a really great guitar that they purposefully underproduce every year. Like, they always make sure that there's an artificial shortage on them. Mm-hmm. But that is because if they actually produced the number in demand, they would have to lower the quality because of the amount of materials going into them, and they are decent materials, and it requires actual knowledge and well-paid engineers and builders and designers and blah, blah, blah. So it's a great instrument. It is probably well worth the $7,000 a person who actually plays music for a living might spend on it, as opposed to a guy who measures the density of dirt.
Right.
Or, the air content of concrete. It's just, I don't know. It is, I am stupid with money, but at least if I spend money on something, it will be something that would be slightly more practical than the guitar. Look, if I'm going to blow a couple grand, I would probably build myself a computer that would be built to last at least 8 to 10 years.
Yeah, if I came into a large amount of money, like, a computer would be on my short list, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Also, like, camera equipment.
Yeah.
But, again, like, even to what small scale it is, photography actually is legitimately a profession I engage in.
Yes, and that's the thing. A computer can be used in some regard in your work. Photography equipment can be used in some regard in your work.
Yeah.
So, neither of those would be ridiculous things to spend it on. Mm-hmm. He measures the density of dirt. He does not need a bass guitar for that.
Right.
Now, there is something to be said for it is his money and it does not need to be spent in any work regard because his company supplies him with all of the tools he would need. So he doesn't have to pay for anything out of pocket unless he breaks the $10,000 nuclear density gauge.
That would be a bad thing to do.
Or the $100,000 gauge that they have just started using for something or other. And there's another one that costs $300,000, which apparently...
What does that one do?
I don't know. I think that one's for measuring the density and stability of structural steel. And, like, only one person at that company is actually qualified to even touch the equipment, and that's a friend of mine. A friend of all of ours. Who is a nice guy, Nick. Looks like Riff Raff from Rocky Horror. The older he gets, the more he looks like it. And, oh god, there is a person who has just been having life shit on them. I mean, like, he dated this girl, Katie, for, I think, 6 or 7 years. They finally decided they wanted to have a kid. They have a kid. Everyone is happy. He named the kid after a character in a video game because his wife, or because, his girlfriend was totally cool with that. Then one day she walks away and leaves Facebook open, and he sees a long Facebook conversation with her and one of the guys she's fucking.
Oh.
And Nick goes from 0 to 100 really quick when he gets angry. But it takes him an infinitely long amount of time to get off of 0. Like, you can't piss him off. I mean, as long as you're his friend and you're trying to listen or, not actually trying to be an asshole, he will generally maintain a cool attitude about it.
Uh-huh.
Apparently, he looked at it, lost all of his chill immediately, called the guy who she was fucking, and went, "So you fucking my girlfriend, huh?" And basically told him he would kill him if he ever saw him in real life, or he came within 100 yards of their son.
Uh-huh.
And the guy apparently denied ever having known his girlfriend, as one would do in that situation. And then he waited for her to get home. Basically said, "All right, get the fuck out of the house that I am paying for us to live in."
Uh-huh.
And she then had to go home to her parents' house. Her parents, who absolutely love Nick, and thought that she was, Katie had, her girlfriend had a bad habit of dating complete and total shitheads. And they went, "Oh, this is great. He's such a responsible, good adult. He'll be perfect for her." And then she screwed it up. But as they mentioned, her family is kind of fucked up anyway, in that her uncle is actually her mother's first husband. And she plays this off as being, Katie plays this off as being totally normal in every way, shape and form.
Yeah, of course.
In spite of the fact, Eric actually just told her, no, it's not. That's weird. You're weird. Your family's weird. And, and I'm not going to judge anyone, but I wouldn't have...
that was close. Almost got creepered to death.
But, I'm not going to judge anyone up until they prove that they're a bad person. Then I will judge them for everything. Because why not?
Yeah.
But, funny story.
Creeper blew up and didn't even help me any.
They realized, after she left, they had to get toilet paper. So... Eric went off, bought a giant-ass thing of toilet paper. And, a 12-pack of butter sticks. And they had previously been going through toilet paper at a ridiculous rate, and butter at a ridiculous rate, and everything at a ridiculous rate. And... they, they never thought about where it was going, honestly.
Uh-huh.
As soon as Katie moved out, the supplies that had been previously lasting them for upwards, at maximum a week to 2 weeks, lasted them 3 months. So, he mentioned this the last time she was over, or a few times ago when she was over dropping off the kid for Nick to look after. And he was like, "Yeah, we're going through supplies a lot faster." And he's like, "No, yeah, now that I'm not here, it makes sense that you'd be, going through them a little slower." And he's like, No, it's a lot slower." "Well, I was here all the time." And just like, "Yeah, apparently just eating butter and shitting constantly." And Eric heard this from 2 rooms away with no context, just heard eating butter and shitting. and he had to run out of the house because he was about to start laughing, and he didn't want to, cause a fight.
Uh-huh.
And there's that goat.